Café Anyway. Hey, it's Mike. What's going on?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to FF episode 2641, 2641. Mike Matthews, Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the show. Did you know Mike does those low tones? Sometimes he can laugh, he can whine, he can sometimes be divine. And then if you listen to this podcast a lot, your mind will be full of information and be smart and strong. And
Mike's Daily Podcast.
if you're listening to this show on July 19th, which is very possible, it's
Mike's
National
Daily
Hot Dog Day.
Podcast.
But isn't every day National Hot Dog
Yeah.
Day? Hey, everybody, it's National Hot Dog Day. Or it could be American Hot Dog Day or just the Hot Dog Day. I don't know. Café Anyway. But it is Global Hug Your Kids Day. If you have kids, you should definitely hug them. It's very important. I remember hugs with my grandma, mom, everybody in my family, and it brings back a warm smile. There were no creepy hugs, thankfully. Unfortunately, that's a thing with some, but yes, it was good hugs all around. Hugs. I've read studies that said that hugs relieve a certain amount of tension inside you that cause you to, your blood pressure goes down. Well, blood pressure is going up lately because of the heat. It's really bad in Phoenix. You've probably been hearing about that. Like, it cools off in the evening. It's still in the hundreds. Or was I thinking of Death Valley? Death Valley, I think. In the evening, it's cooling down to over 100, like 110. But yes, that's expected in Death Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
What a great place to have Burning Man. The podcast picture today, I will tell you in a moment. It'll probably be from my wonderful week off last week. I got to do so many fun things. And I did mention in the last podcast that I discovered that in the Bay Area, it is becoming more and more of a thing just because everything is more expensive for a lot of the restaurants, that they're now charging you for using your credit card. The late great Basil the Boxer, he would have enjoyed here in these post-COVID days that they allow you to sit outside of a restaurant. There are all these patios that popped up during COVID, because there was no way for restaurants to stay in business. They needed to create these spaces outside to eat because you couldn't eat inside. And so, as I threw a couple extra S's in there, that was the thing. But okay, so in the past year, prices have gone up because of inflation, because of the impending recession, which now we don't think it's going to happen, or do we? I don't know. It's always like there's this thing. It's not now, it is. It's not. So prices went up dramatically within the past couple of years. And you know restaurants are not going to bring those prices back down. They will use every excuse under the sun. Oh, well, eggs are expensive. No, they were expensive a couple months back with the supply chains and all that, and the chicken aviary flu or whatever it was. You should probably bring the prices back down and give us a break. No.
Magnification.
All right. What about the whole thing where you were selling us a bag of chips, but you sold it for the same price, and you gave us less chips? Why don't you put those chips back in? No. We're already enjoying this profit margin. We're not going to give it back to you. Well, thank you. Ooh, this podcast picture will be from, the area that is called Miller Knox, which is next to Point Richmond. A fantastic, beautiful area that at one time was a very treacherous area. It had been just left behind by all the industries that had been there along the bay in Richmond.
Woo!
And at one point, somebody said, hey, this could be a park. And parts of it were bought up. And someone with the last name Miller and someone with the last name Knox, I can't remember who they were, but I remember someone was a politician that helped make it that this land would be a park for everybody to enjoy, a public park. So you can see a picture of that at mikesdailypodcast.com. And I posted to Threads this past day. And dang,
You will travel into the incredible universe.
a couple people responded. Well, they're following me. They didn't respond. I think everybody is just so narcissistic and into themselves and not really caring what anybody posts at this point. They're all, what is this party called Threads? Let me jump in right now. And you don't go to threads.com because that is a website that has something to do with Discord. I'm not sure exactly what it's all about, but it's not affiliated with Meta. Meta and Instagram, Facebook, that's all part of Threads. It's Mark Zuckerberg's thing to go after Elon Musk and Twitter. But there is a thing when you go to threads.com, it says, no, we're not the Instagram one. So you have to go to threads.net, but all that has there is a scan for you to scan on your phone that takes you to the app. They want you to just use the app. So they raised the prices at the restaurants. They've already locked that in, and now they're going to lock in this credit card thing. This ain't going to go away anytime soon. So I understand a lot of restaurants closed. There were a lot of restaurants that should have closed during the pandemic because they were too expensive. And what you got was like nothing. And the only things that were keeping them in business was all the foodies, all the rich techie people in the Bay Area. Well, now a lot of them have lost their jobs. So the dynamic is in flux, as it probably is. And that's why the word is dynamic, because it's dynamic. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, all the profundity here today.
Anyway.
Is in abundity. In abundance. Kombucha! The wonderful cat known as Rocky was just here. And I played a cat sound effect that I already had, a canned one from way back. I think I pulled it off of YouTube. I'm not going to play it for you now because it's annoying. But I played it for him, and he suddenly jumped and was like looking all over the place for the cat. It was funny and cruel, and I'll never do it again. But be kind to your cats and dogs. So it's hard to beat the heat even with easy access to air conditioning, icy drinks, and refreshing swimming pools, and it can be just as hard for dogs and cats on these sweltering days. To help pet owners keep their pets cool despite the rising temperatures, here are some tips that were offered by Best Friends Animal Society, a leading animal welfare organization working to end the killing of cats and dogs in America's shelters by the year 2025. Here. Good luck, guys.
A fine article.
You silly, great, fat article.
If you have any amount of common sense, you'd probably figure out on your own, but you should exercise your dogs during the cooler morning or evening hours. Keep pets indoor during the hottest parts of the day. Quick walks and bathroom breaks are fine in extreme heat, but try to keep pets in the shade. Be aware of the temperature of the sidewalk, asphalt, sand, or even packed dirt. These can cause burns to your pet's paw pads. Yes, the paw pads. Pet's paw pads. If pets do spend time outside during the day, ensure that they have access to shade at all hours of the day. Oh, I hope that's not the case for you, but if that is the case, they should stay. I mean, if you have to keep your dog outside, make sure they have access to shade and, cool parts. Cool place. A dog house may not exactly be cool. In fact, it'd probably be pretty hot in there. A lot of dog houses aren't built with any installation, so it can be quite dangerous for them. I don't know if it's a little bit better for them to be in the greenery, to be under trees. Dogs on tethers are especially vulnerable because they could become tangled out of reach of shade or water. Oh yeah, leave them lots of water too. Provide pets with fresh, cool water at all times, as most dogs won't drink hot water no matter how thirsty they are. Dogs who are older or overweight have a thick coat or a pushed-in nose are especially at risk of overheating. And dogs with bald patches or minimal coats may need sunscreen, but with all this, consult a veterinarian. And never leave your pet in a parked car when the outside temperature is above 70. That is common sense. Many studies show that temperatures inside a car on a 70-degree day can rise to 89 degrees in 10 minutes and to 104 in as little as half an hour. Dogs and cats can't sweat like humans, so they pant to lower their body temperatures. If they're inside a car, recycling hot air, that's not good because panting gives no relief and heat stroke can occur quickly. And if you suspect a dog or cat is suffering from heat stroke, move him or her to a cooler environment immediately and apply cool water to the abdomen, ears, and foot pads. Once they're stable, bring them to a veterinary clinic quickly as possible. Things may be happening internally that are not obvious from the outside. Signs of heat stroke include heavy panting that does not resolve as the pet rests, increasing distress, a tongue color that is dark red to almost purple, weakness if they're weak or if they collapse, if they have hypersalivation, labored breathing, or if there is vomiting. This is all from Best Friends Animal Society. They have bestfriends.org as their website.
Mike's Out of Left Field Recordings.
Recording everything captures actions that will never again be repeated.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, Gift Supervisor. I have snow globes for the warm weather to cool people down, Mike Matthews. And they're made out of actual snow.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I like that. That feels nice on my neck. It's cooling down my neck.
Mike Matthews, why do you say it like that?
Say it like what?
The way you say that word.
What word?
The one you just said.
Say it.
No.
My neck. This is not in any way ridiculously silly. Okay, look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. I'm sorry your cat got scared. Wow, that was like a little song. I know, it was like a little song, Mike Matthews. I like to sing these songs to you. Well, speaking of songs, TikTok is testing its own version of the Spotify Viral 50 or the Billboard 100 after they have helped several songs top the charts. The top 3 tracks are Get Off the Wall by Philly Goats, a 24-second sped-up version of the song Collide, and I'm not sure which one. Is that the old Huey... What was his name? Howie song. Howie Day. You and I collide. No, maybe not. And the Young Nudie song Peaches and Eggplants featuring 21 Savage. It's the most important thing that's happened in the music industry in a long time. And as someone who has been a huge part of, well, keeping his eyes on the music industry anyway, not really being in the music industry or in the ministry of music, but still, I enjoy music as I look at my over 2,000 CD wall outside a Café Anyway. Why do I have it out here in the heat? That's bad for these CDs. But I guess they're in their little eco-unfriendly cases of plastic.
The Fascinating Material Project.
This little report I got from Rob Black. I produce his podcast, Rob Black and Your Money, The Rob Black Show. San Francisco is fighting guerrilla war against robo-taxis. Oh, yes. This is fascinating. I've been wanting to talk about this for weeks. I keep forgetting to talk about this. So you can disable a robo-taxi by putting an orange traffic cone on its hood. That, I think, is the funniest thing I have ever heard. It is like killing the... Oh, what killed all the aliens that were destroying the Earth was the common cold. Or, something simple. So, water... If you throw water on the evil witch, she melts. So you just put a traffic cone on its hood, and apparently Waymo and Cruise robo-taxis stop. They're disabled. A group of activists called Safe Street Rebel in San Francisco are using the tactic to protest driverless taxis taking over their city streets. Apparently, they drive really slow. And they're annoying. The group has been giving instructions on social media to encourage others to do the same. The anti-robotaxi vigilantism comes ahead of a major hearing that could allow Cruise and Waymo, both robotaxi services in SF, to expand their operations to a level comparable to Uber's and Lyft's. I didn't find out the result of that. That actually happened earlier this month. But frustrated people in San Francisco say they didn't sign up to be guinea pigs in big tech's experiment. See all you people outside of the Bay Area and in other parts of the country. Even we find big tech annoying, and we're in the Bay Area. We're the reason for big tech. A few problematic situations. A swarm of them stopped moving at an intersection last summer, and it blocked traffic for hours, these robo-taxis. Malfunctioning robo-taxis have blocked first responders from getting where they need to go, so lives are being threatened. Elected officials are in Waymo's and Cruise's corner, however, so the robotaxi expansion is expected to pass at the hearing later this week. I need to find out.
Whoa! Mike's Amusement Park.
Ay. Oh, speaking of Cruz, as in Ted Cruz, he may actually have a viable threat to his position in Texas as senator. There's somebody who's getting some steam. I forget his name, a Democrat, who now Beto O'Rourke apparently did pretty well last time. Oh, it got postponed, the vote, it says here. There we go. A Cruise lawyer is one of the 5 people deciding Cruise robotaxi expansion. And so I guess at this point, and now it goes into Tom Cruise stories and Mission Impossible 7, of course. Yes, and then we got Barbie coming out this weekend. I can't believe. So it's apparently going to do really well. And so is the movie about Oppenheimer, the guy who invented or helped put together the atom bomb, which that movie was already done years and years ago. Fat Boy and Little Man with another Cruise. And I forget his name all of a sudden. Or was it Cruise? Somebody, the guy from Say Anything. John...
Ginormous.
Oh, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. He was in all those movies. In The Sure Thing, Better Off Dead. He'll come to me in a second, I think. Or maybe not. We'll see what happens, because it's a live Mike's Daily podcast at Café Anyway. Yes, so what happened was, in the movie, it talked all about the trickiness of working with uranium and the radioactivity and the way the world was at that time. And I guess now you've got Batman guy, Christopher Nolan, put in his own spin on it. So that's supposed to do really, really well. And then you've got the Barbie coming out with the Ryan Reynolds and the Australian gal from all the movies, the DC movies that she's done. And yeah, that's supposed to do really well, even though I thought it was just a YouTube joke. But we shall see. I think that is happening this weekend. Yes. So And Twitter is tanking as Threads hits over 100 million users. User traffic on Twitter has slowed since the launch of Meta's text-based platform Threads, which has already surpassed 100 million signups since its debut. Threads launched and reached 100 million signups over the weekend, and it's been touted as a more positive public square.
And now we return you to our regularly scheduled program with Mike Matthews.
The front panel will close automatically.
And he's done so well. Twitter has been taking a hit and tanking. The booming growth on Threads is helped by the fact that users can sign up with their existing handles on Instagram. Ah, yes. So if you have Instagram, you can get onto Threads, and that's what I did with Mike's Daily Podcast. I already got an Instagram that I use to post all the podcast pictures on it. And so it said, hey, do you want to just go to Threads, Mike? And I did. And so you can find me on Threads there under Mike's Daily Podcast. So that reached the 100 million milestone even faster. And this is fascinating. Faster than OpenAI's generative chatbot ChatGPT. That was the other big launch this year. It's been a watershed year, 2023. And usually the years that end in 3 tend to be watershed years. 1983 was a watershed year for music. You had The Police, Van Halen, Men at Work. There was something else in 83. Was it Journey? Something. There was a lot of acts that you hear all the time on 80s radio that got big at the moment in 1983. 93, grunge. 2003, I'm proving my point really well. 2013, something big happened. I can't think of it. And then you've got this year with OpenAI and ChatGPT. The Threads, which I don't think these are going to I don't think Threads is going to change the world the way that chatbot ChatGPT is. But OpenAI's generative chatbot ChatGPT surpassed 100 million monthly users in 2 months. Magnification. But Threads did it in just a few days. The app still has lots of room to grow, has not launched in Europe yet. Twitter owner Elon Musk has already shown some concern about Threads, as his lawyer wrote a letter to Meta accusing the company of unlawful misappropriation of trade secrets. Ooh. Musk and Zuckerberg were taking shots at each other over the weekend as Zuckerberg mocked Musk's tweet style and Musk called Zuckerberg a derogatory name. This happened not last weekend, but I think the weekend previous. And there's apparently some not friendly right-wing users are testing the boundaries of Mark Zuckerberg's friendly Twitter alternative. So they're doing, I guess, some things that maybe Twitter would not put up with. We'll see. Even with Elon Musk now running Twitter, and he's a little more right-wing friendly. So, yes, it was John... Anyway, next podcast, we're going to have the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. And if you would like to tell me what the actor's name is, because I have obviously forgotten, you can call me and leave a message. Call us here at Café Anyway, 510-228-4640. And with more ways to reach me, it's Ariel.
Machi.
John Cusack.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!